Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is a talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, news, pop culture, everything really depending on the guests we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats, and we were speaking to Mika Boorem about her directorial debut for Hollywood.Con. Mika, welcome to Popternative.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
It's exciting. I mean, you wear a lot of hats on this project. I mean, simple question. What was it like kind of wearing many hats, directing, acting, and writing? Was it kind of a bit stressful at times? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was necessary. It was necessary. So I wrote this, I directed it, I starred it, I produced it, I cast it, the whole shebang. And so it was a blast though. We've got a great cast in the movie. Tom Arnold's in the movie.
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton does a cameo with his band, the Box Masters. Brian Krause from Charm does a cameo. Paige Howard. I mean, we just got this awesome cast. So, a lot of work wearing a lot of hats, but worth it.
You've been acting, you started acting at a young age. I think you've been acting for over 20 years, I believe. You said it in previous interviews.
Yes. Child labor.
Yeah. So did you know though at one point that you wanted to go behind the camera and not just like go be in front of the camera and act?
Yeah, I think directing and filmmaking is a natural progression from acting, because acting you're facilitating one part of the puzzle piece, and then directing you're a lot more involved, a lot more collaborative, and you just bear so much more responsibility.
Absolutely. What were some learning experiences for you on this film? You know, this is a film that has a lot of different things going on. There's a lot happening in this film. So I'm kind of wondering, what was it like behind the scenes? You know what I mean? It's so chaotic on camera.
Oh man, it was crazy. I'll tell you, you know who is a surly actor? That camel. That camel didn't listen. And the wildebeest, my goodness, these animals that are in the movie, and I'm not just talking about the actors, but the actual animals, they're out of control.
I know. It seems like for even when people, it's funny, like you see the trailer for Hollywood.Con. I mean, right there, it just like there's a lot. Were you hoping the movie was gonna, like, when you were kind of writing it and directing it, that it was gonna be packed and have a lot in it? Because it's packed. There's a lot going on in Hollywood.Con.
Yeah, we got a lot of locations, a lot of animals, a lot of actors. I think the movie kind of encompasses what's that indie spirit. Yep. You get to push the envelope. You get to push the envelope with quirky, weird, goofy. Like, when you do these big studio movies, it's a little bit more cookie cutter. So, anything that we could fit in that we had access to that we thought would be like oddball and fun, we're like, yeah, get it in there. Or we'll rewrite the script and add it in,
What were some things you really wanted to kind of have in there from a director and a writing perspective? Like, you write it, like a script's written, you're about to shoot it, you go shooting locations. What like style or elements had to be in there for you?
Number one, great actors.
Yeah.
Great actors, which we have this awesome cast for Hollywood.Con. And then really great character development on top of that, character arcs for each one of these. And that was probably number one. And then number two is I wanted it to be a grand scale. I wanted you to see all these different things visually. I wanted you to see the sand dunes in Yuma. I wanted you to see the colors of Latin America. I wanted you to see, the sparkles and funny, but like underbelly side of Hollywood. And so I wanted a lot of flavorful things. And I knew that I would be promoting the project for a while and that I would be with it for a while because I wore so many hats. So I was like, I need to do something that's fun, that I like, and that's an adventurous thing and that I can be passionate about and get other people to come on board to have a good time.
And I do have to say, you are wearing a very cool hat right now.
Thank you.
I do have to say, like I said, you started at a young age. You were in a lot of amazing films over the over the past years. I told you before that Sleepover is a fan favorite in my household. My sister and I love that movie growing up. But you've done so many of them. Obviously, you're focusing on your projects right now. But I mean, I'm sure some of those experiences and learning experiences and being around a lot of those scripts and movies. I mean, like that's timeless, right, Mika?
You know what? It's so cool. Like, I'm so grateful that I've been involved in so many fun like projects over the years, and I think it's one of those things where hopefully you learn each time you're on set. You're around people that you respect and that you admire, and so hopefully you're like, oh, cool, that's how they do that. Oh, cool. And it helps meld into whatever stylistically and like film wise that I'm doing. I mean, this whole movie was cast with colleagues. All these actors were people I worked with. Tom Arnold played my dad on a TV show for 2 years when I was 10. I called him up and I was like, Tom, I got a role for you. It's my directorial debut. You're going to be LJ, the drug lord. You run a cartel in Mexico. Will you do it? He was like, okay, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah, these are all people I've worked with. So I think we got some, apart from the lead actors in it that are really fun and great and recognizable, we got a lot of like really quirky cameos in there too.
Oh, absolutely. Now, movies like, Jack Frost and Blue Crush, like if you look at it, you did those movies a long time ago. I think movies like Sleepover were a little later, I believe, right?
Yeah, I was a little older then.
Yeah, exactly. But so like, when people ask you, you're obviously happy to talk about the films, but like people have to realize too, like a lot of those films you did like a long time ago, right? Like,
for sure. You know what though? Like Jack Frost, how cool! I'm in a Christmas movie that comes up almost every year. Like, I'm excited about that. I did a movie with like with an animatronic snowman. Like that's cool. That's cool. No, I dig it. I think it's fun. And if anybody, when people ask about stuff, like if people had an experience with something that I did, or they have like, it touches them somewhere and they want to talk about it, like by all means, like I'm super pumped and excited, that people connect with things and connect with any sort of work that I've done. I think it's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, like Blue Crush, every time I watch that movie, I want to be like in Hawaii. Like that movie, just like what I need to know. What was it like filming that movie?
That was a blast. We filmed in Hawaii. We were on Oahu. They like had the coolest, the whole, the water safety team was like top of the line. So that was really cool. And then they had all these amazing pro surfers involved. Yeah. I mean, so like, just the authenticity that surrounded that movie, even though it was, this like large scale studio movie, they really like grounded it with this authenticity, because the director on that too, John Stockwell, is a surfer. So I felt like it was really important for him to get that. I think that you capture that, with the cinematography, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, that movie was cool to be a part of for sure.
And we'll get back to Hollywood.com, but like Sleepover as well, though. I mean, that movie was part of kind of that crop of like fun, like teen movies of amazing, like punk rock soundtracks. You know what I mean? Like those were the movies.
Gotta get that lunch table. Yeah.
Were there times where you like? I mean, maybe some of the actors on that were better than others, but like, there's some funny things that happen in that. Like Evan Peters in that is just out of control. I mean, were there a lot of like outtakes and like times when you guys laughed a lot? Like, do you remember it? Like, were there a lot of outtakes or like a lot of laughing? Was there a lot of that? Like Steve Carell scenes? Like, come on, like.
Absolutely, that project was a blast. I think that was cool because a lot of the movies that I had done before that, apart from like Jack Frost, weren't with groups of people my same age. Like I was generally in a movie, movies with people who were like 20 years older. So on that one, it was one of the first ones I'd done that had a whole group of young people. And, you've got some amazing, like, oddball artist. So of course you've got these like, quirky moments. And then for us girls, they had us all piled into that smart car, So we're in there basically on top of each other. And it was good. It was good. I was so happy. I can't remember, the time runs together now. I guess it was the year before last because of the pandemic. But the one girl, Callie, who's in the movie, who played Yancy, she just got married. And so we had so much fun because all of us girls went to her wedding, and it was totally like I felt like I was back in the video. Yancy is getting married. It was so exciting. It was so fun.
That is so cool. There's so many. Oh my god, there's so many moments in that movie. And I love like the soundtrack of that. Like I'm a big soundtrack guy, right? So I feel like because Blue Crush had a really good soundtrack, and so I think that was really cool. But getting back to Hollywood.com, Mika, I mean, the obvious answer to this question is you hope they enjoy it, you hope they recommend it to family and friends. But diving deep into it a little bit more, when they watch your film, what are you hoping they get out of it?
Escapism, to have a good time, relax. It's a fun movie. Like you don't have to think too hard when you watch it. You get to watch all these weird characters, and hopefully you find some that you connect or you relate to. And it's just all about their adventures, selling each other out in Hollywood, and like they're trying to make the next big Mayan movie. And then there's an enchanted piece of jade, and we've got a Mayan priest, and like all these cool locations, and just for people to have a good time. The movie, it's relaxing. Like there's nothing political in it. There's nothing religious in it. There's nothing, no sex, no violence. Like it's just quirky.
Absolutely. What's the mindset when you wrap? What's the mindset when you wrap a movie like this, though? Like because depending on the project, sometimes it can be overwhelming. But like, were you ready? Like, okay, cool, let's make another movie, or was it kind of like, all right, like that was fun. Let's take some weeks off and just relax. Like, I'm just curious, what was the mindset when you wrapped the movie?
Then we went into post.
Yeah, it's true.
So we wrapped it and we went into post. But it was cool because for the post-production of this, a buddy of mine, Kevin Ross, who was editor on Stranger Things, Californication, like just has these awesome credits and all these Emmys, he came through and he did a polishing pass on the movie too. Yeah, so it was interesting because our plan with the movie too is we had it set up. We were doing a theatrical distribution through Mexico in the theaters.
Yep.
So we're releasing it in over 3,000 theaters, and then the pandemic hit, and so that kind of gave us like a little bit of a break because prior to that, since we were releasing it in Mexico, we were doing a promotional tour through Mexico. So then we were like, oh wait, what do we do? And then Amazon's such an awesome option.
Yep.
The theaters are still closed. And we're like, this is great. We can get it in front of people. We can get it in people's homes. Let's do it.
Absolutely. So yeah, they can see it on Amazon, which is amazing. Mika, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. So yeah, people can check out the film on Amazon.
Yes, on Amazon.
Which is
there. You gotta watch it. Hollywood.Con on Amazon. There's camels.
There's camels. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
I'm on social media just under my name, which is Mika, M-I-K-A, and then the last name is B-O-O-R-E-M.
Amazing.
So
awesome. For sure. So this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Mika Boorem and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.